Good afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon, Aaron, and to everybody listening.
Ooh, that audience. Yeah, I like them.
They are all right. It's very hard to do a podcast without them.
I know.
I mean people do it.
Yeah.
They absolutely do it.
Yeah, we could do it. And then we'd be like, do we listen to ourselves if no one else listened to the show? Would that be it? We'll get like 2 listens.
It really goes down to that whole if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, is it happening kind of a thing, you know?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'd probably still listen. I like us. I like listening to us. It's fun.
I listen just to, I mean, I would say to hear my own voice, but literally to hear how I sound on the podcast and then like try to troubleshoot your mic. Yeah. Maybe if I put a blanket over this shit, will it work better?
No, you sound way better. You did some maintenance on
I'll
stuff.
tell you when you post it and I hear it.
Yeah, you actually sound a lot better, so that's good. We still got to get you a better mic. That's all it is. That mic is not the greatest stuff, but it's better than nothing. So
yes, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, how was your week? You good?
Busy as hell. How about you?
Busy. Trying to make money at making movies. Yeah,
that's busy.
It's busy as fuck. It's craziness. However, it's working barely. I'm not going to the store today to buy anything. I'm not spending any fucking money today. I'm finding something in the freezer. I think I have like 2 chicken breasts. I got leftover chili from yesterday.
You have protein. That's better than half the filmmakers out there. So
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta have that. So I'm gonna do leftovers and watch movies later. But anyway, so we got a guest today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and our guest is kind of new to the industry, and we'll get to know if he's really super new or if he's been like doing this for a little while and we just are starting to hear about him now. However, if he is new, it's going to be a fun conversation. I'm going to be excited to talk to him about what his expectations are, because you remember, Steve, when you just started doing this stuff? How did you feel when you first started trying to make movies?
You know, the funny part was I like kind of skidded into it backwards like 20 years ago. Okay. And then by the time I feel like I really got started was when I moved up to Washington, but I had done a bunch of stuff by then. But the whole time you just kind of feel, I don't know, like imposter syndrome all the time.
Okay.
I know you don't know how that works because you're you, but I joke regularly. I'm a Muppet Man made of imposter syndrome and anxiety and coffee.
Holy shit.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how I feel as a filmmaker most of the time. Like I put something out, and I'm like, okay, it got done, and then I'm like, am I really a filmmaker?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
See, my experience was a tad different. Like when I started, you know, it was kind of like super excited. When I could figure out, oh shit, we can make movies. And then I was like, I was energized. I had these like big dreams and visions and all this stuff. And then I realized it's kind of like having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you get really excited and you kind of blow it before you even get the condom on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where
and you're like, is anyone gonna let me do this again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to just get it out, you know. And
oddly enough, that is probably the best metaphor that I ever heard for being in the film business is like it. And it's constant. It's not like after a while you're like, hey, I know what to do with this thing. No. you're like, well, that happened. They're gonna let me go again? Or
and you want to go again, right? Right
yeah,
away,
I mean,
you want to do it again.
Yeah.
It's that's my experience. But you know, I don't, and I get it out fast. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing I don't really take time that's necessary to kind of massage the situation.
Oh, I'm all about foreplay.
Yeah,
I mean with film.
Yeah,
with film. Yeah. I'm like, we're gonna take a while here. The lady's probably going to want to leave before anybody's done. I'm just taking my time.
You just wear it out, though. It's like a Sahara when you're done.
Yeah, somebody needs to be like, dude, you got to move this along, man. Let's get her done, okay?
Oh, man, that's funny. Anyway, I'm excited to see where Bob's at on this.
Yes.
So, you ready to start a show?
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Let's do it.
Welcome to Around the Reel with your host, Aaron Carlson, Steve Eaton, and Samantha Hanna. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
All right, and there he is.
Here I is.
Wayne.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing fabulous. Listening to you guys reminded me of my fishing trip last week.
Oh, were you having sex on your fishing trip?
No, but I did stroke my rod and got off too early.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had
Got
a
away,
big
didn't they?
steelhead, right?
Uh-huh.
And this, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my pole goes down, and the bell's going ding, 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 and I jump up, and my buddy's saying, "Calm down, relax." Well, I set the hook, and with steelhead, you're supposed to let them set the hook, right?
Okay.
And you're supposed to tighten your line and let the fish pull. And yeah, I didn't do that, so it got off too early. But hey,
This is
where it
all
goes,
great.
right?
Some metaphors.
All of
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I
Get it.
didn't plan well enough. The actors are angry. The fish are moving.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how that is. I guess it kind of makes it like, anything you do that takes skill kind of has the same kind of basic kind of thought process before you
Yeah.
begin stuff. It's kind of weird that way. Yeah. Like
It's weird though. Like painting is totally different. You can be like you yourself, your paints, absolute control.
Mm-hmm.
And then like filmmaking is the exact opposite. You're like, I'm relying on everybody here. I'm relying on to get something done with me. And hopefully we like each other enough to do it again at the end.
Right.
And
Yep.
It's
That's
mayhem.
exactly it. It is. Oh, how about that?
Mayhem. I like that.
How about that?
mayhem.
That is
Yeah.
a beautiful segue. Beautiful segue. Well, Bob, since you're our guest today, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself real quickly to the audience, and then maybe we can roll into some of the things that I know about you, and maybe you can fill us in a little bit more about yourself. How about that?
Sure, absolutely. I'm 53-year-old veteran. I'm service connected from a head injury in the Army. I started acting 4 years ago with my grandson, actually. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be acting at all. He was 8 at the time, and he says, "Pop, I want to try acting." So we went and tried out for a part at the Grand Victorian Theater in Myrtle Creek, Oregon, and we both landed lead parts.
Oh.
And of course, I landed the part as the villain, and I fell in love with that character. Since then, I've done a few things like the Face of Horror competition. I've done that twice. It was really fun. I wasn't really a big horror fan until the first Face of Horror competition I decided to do with my grandson's mother, our youngest daughter, and just fell in love with it again. I started doing little skits in my garage, little horror film type skits to try to get votes, and listened to a lot of the advice that people would give along the way.
Mm-hmm.
For each round, somebody gives advice, and Adam Green really inspired me because when he wrote Frozen, he mentioned that it's not a quote, but this is how I took what he said. If you have an experience in your life that keeps coming back and the same feelings keep coming back, then you have a story. And I thought, okay, well, hell, I'll write a horror story then, which is really kind of weird because I started to write a theological book originally, and now I'm writing a horror book. Or wrote a horror book, rather. It's just a little novella. And then through the Face of Horror thing, the whole Mayhem character started to grow, and he's just evolving, and I'm just excited about that. But anyway, that's me.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome, buddy. Nice job, Bob. Thank you. Okay, so you started out writing a novella is basically what you did. So you wrote this book. What's the book pertaining? We heard Mayhem. What's that? What is that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so George Mayhem is a fictional character. So when I came up with the character Mayhem for the Face of Horror competition, and then after deciding to write this horror novel, I thought, well, heck, go years back and start taking different experiences. And so George Mayhem was an abused child that grows up to be an outstanding soldier in the United States military. And when he gets out, he's got TBI, PTSD, tries to settle down. Real fun-loving guy, great great dad, husband, grandpa, all that stuff, and a group of people attacks his wife, and he tries to peacefully resolve the situation, and that ends badly.
Okay.
And so now they attack him. His wife is injured, and so he goes off. It's like, okay, so if you want war is what you're going to get. And so he goes into this combat mode and becomes a serial killer, essentially. Then, I'm not going to give too much away, but he gets caught, and he is just hell in prison too. He's just taking everybody out. So they order his execution immediately. He gets executed. He's by hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And then 20 years later, in the prison cemetery, there's this old rusty rod with a plaque on it with just date of death. You don't know who's buried there. And then the classic big bad lightning storm comes through, hits that rod, revives them, right? Now you have this, I don't know what he's become. I don't know if, he's more than a zombie.
Okay.
He's, because, he can enter your dreams. He can be there and not be there. He can, do all this. And then, so now he's become this vigilante, though. Now it's more of, he's going to go after people that do heinous things.
No joke. So it's
Kind
an
of a
undead Dexter kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Badass.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm super excited.
Okay. Dude, that's a fun concept. That's awesome. Yeah. And I saw your artwork for it. It looks great. It's really a cool thing.
Yeah, that was actually my buddy, Tristan Wellham. He's a photographer here, and he actually put that together, that picture that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but I kind of wanted a, I got that idea from watching The Man Behind the Mask, or not watching it. I looked at the cover of that book, The Man Behind the Mask, and it's about the guy that plays Jason Voorhees. Oh my gosh, I should know his name. I follow him all the time.
Oh yeah, it's what's his name? I just saw him at the guy.
Yeah. Fuck is Chuck when you need him,
dude. We
Right?
suck so bad, and we do Jason movies.
It'll come to my mind, but anyway, I
brain
seen
fart.
that picture with the half hockey mask, and then half of that act. Oh my gosh, that's just crazy. I talk about him all the time. He's one of my favorite actors. But
I'm not
anyway.
listening to a word you say right now because my brain is just spinning 100.
Yeah, I got that.
Right, Kane Hodder. There it is.
Kane Hodder.
Kane
Thank
Hodder.
you.
Yes,
My
there you
Lord
go.
in heaven.
And anyway, I'd seen the picture of his book, The Man Behind the Mask, and it had a half hockey mask and half a Kane Hodder's face. And I thought, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so at the time I had that scary scarecrow mask, which was that was kind of Mayhem's character, which it kind of fits. I mean, he's not a scarecrow, but when they hung him, they left the bag over his head that they hung him, how they put the gunny sack over your head. And so, I mean, it fits, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I love it. And I like that you're drawn to the horror thing. I think that's cool. Even to tell a vigilante story, it's awesome because, you've got more freedom, and then you go undead on it, and then it's even more freedom. You can just have fun as fuck.
Do whatever the heck you want. It's like, people say, well, what is Mayhem? I said, I don't know. Use your imagination.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
and I want to leave it there. It's,
No, that's super fun. Okay, so how long is the book? Like, how is it a short stories, or
it's
is it
a
like
super
one
short
novel?
story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only like 90 pages, 97 pages. I mean, it's, and that's just the first one. So I wrote a second one really quick called Mayhem in the Shadows, and I'm going to combine the two. I think the film I'm wanting to do is Mayhem in the Shadows, and it's based on chapter 2 of the second novella.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's my next question, and this is the fun stuff. So we all have these dreams. We kind of all have these characters we want to create, these stories we want to tell, and then you're like, okay, I got this. I wrote it all down. I just did that alone. Now you're at a point where you got to create something that you can, share visually. I mean, but reading is kind of visual in a way.
A world though within that you can live other people. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You want to make a fucking movie, right?
I do. I want to make a movie.
So you've been acting for 4 years, just kind of getting an idea of something that you like to do. Have you ever made a movie before?
Have not made a movie other than those little skits that we did for the Face of Horror competition to get votes. Other than that, no. I played in my first movie over Halloween. It was called The New Ghostbusters, by Mike
nice.
Schwab. It was a fan film.
Okay.
And I played the ghost, and it was so much fun. But yeah, that's Delta Pawns Productions. He does an outstanding job. But yeah, that's my first film, and only so far.
Okay, was that your first time on an actual film set?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Did you pick up anything? What'd you remember from it?
Oh, dude, I am so amazed at how much work goes in to making a film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it took us 8 hours, 2 different days, 4 hours each day to make, what is that movie, like 12 minutes long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 hours. I mean, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's one of the funny things when you hear people whining online about, especially the huge movies. You're like, before you whine, you should just make something.
Yes.
Make some little tiny movie, and you will realize, even to make a horribly shitty small movie, it is incredibly hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just blew my mind. And then I got to be the director of photography, if you will, kind of OJT on a film. Oh gosh, what was that? It was just another short film by Mike Schwab. We did it for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think of the name, but I got.
So you're getting experience pretty quick, though.
Yeah, and what's fun is, I've found a group in Eugene, which is 85 miles, that's willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come up. And that's what's great is it's like, scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. I love and the community up there is so welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
How'd you run into them? That's a question that I like to ask all people trying to just for the first time figure out something. What were the steps you took?
Right.
What happened?
So for starters, I had started with Spider King Studios in Roseburg, Oregon. It's a small studio just starting out. Mm-hmm. And we were going to shoot Mayhem in the Shadows, and they were unable to continue with that. So in the meantime, Logan Cannon had auditioned for the part as Jack in my movie, and I just started talking with him, and he's a prince.
I love that guy.
Oh man, he's awesome, and he's so approachable.
Mm-hmm.
And he had put me on to different websites like the Lane County filmmakers and things like that, and so that's how I wound up running into these guys. Is I thought, well, what the hell, I'll audition. Just go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the biggest thing is putting myself out there.
That is absolutely correct. That's kind of the thing, I think people get stuck because they're afraid to reach out or talk to others or network.
Sometimes too, it's like people are kind of waiting for somebody to say, "Hey, come on," and like the first and foremost thing you have to have as a filmmaker is like one, moxie. I mean, like exactly that, and then hustle. Once you're trying to make stuff for yourself, like it's just you just kind of have to start hustling everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's really hard to do by yourself. I mean, I got all my shot locations and all that, and I'm trying to do all these things, and it's like with my TBI, I have to be really careful to that because it's an all or nothing type thing, and it's like I either want it all or I don't want it at all, and so I have to be really careful and just do this for fun. Just have fun.
Wait, what was that quote or thing you said again? TBI?
Traumatic brain injury.
Traumatic brain injury.
TBI. Got it. Okay, that's what that is. Wow. Okay. So that can affect you then if you got too into something. Is that what you're saying? It
can. So if you get overstimulated, then you start making bad decisions and you get kind of grumpy.
Okay.
So I have to just take my time and have fun.
Or you'll turn into fucking mayhem, right? Is that what happens?
Yeah, unfortunately, my wife says keep mayhem in the garage. I'm like, damn, you're no fun.
Bring a little bit of it in, just a teeny bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
That's really amazing, though. I actually, it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but I work with a lot of people with TBIs, oddly enough, and the fact that you're able to do it at all is just fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. And if you go back 20 years ago, just right after, forget it. There's no way. But after you've been, I mean, so I'm 23 years in
Yeah.
with this, you know, so you learn a lot of different things, and anyways, yeah, you learn a
It's
ton.
just cool. I mean, the brain slowly rebuilds, and it's kind of cool because I mean, not great to have one, obviously.
I know what you mean.
But like,
yeah,
it's I've seen a lot of people where it's like they have them, and then you almost have to retrain your brain how to build itself back.
Mhm.
And some people really struggle with that. That's amazing that you've been able to do
It
as
is.
much as you have.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a chore, let me tell you. But yeah, so this I found acting as a release. You know, it gets all that out.
Yeah.
You know, even when I was writing Mayhem, you know, the Retribution, it was like, man, I never slept better in my life. And, you know, my therapist is like, yeah, that worries me. I thought that was funny. But then if you think about it, you're getting all that negative crap out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
now
an
you
outlet.
can-
The good dream of what the bad do. And
Yeah.
like we all live there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those weird things where I think people get freaked out by. My mother to this day will see the shit that I write and she'll be like, "What did I do?" I'm like, well, I don't know, but apparently I'm working on it. You know?
Yeah, and that's like Mayhem. I mean, it's you know, when I was writing, I was like, damn, who reads this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I thought, well, who writes it? You know?
Exactly.
Wow, how do we come up with these? You know, it's like I just watched Saw, and I was like, damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, how do you come up with that? It's like, I don't know. It just flows.
Shit just comes. You
It
never
does.
know how. I usually am. I'll have something in my head when I wake up in the morning. So obviously, I was dreaming about something, and I'll have an image in my head, or I'll have a face in my head, or a moment in my head, or somebody was screaming, or somebody was running from something, and I just had a feeling, a vibe from it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what is that? And I'll kind of think about it for like hours afterwards. It'll just be kind of like that song in your head that won't go away. It kind of is that way. Next thing I know, I can piece together like some narrative from that, like just like a brief pitch about, oh, this lady was this, blah blah blah, and this was going. I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Sometimes it happens, and then I get goosebumps, and I'm like, oh shit, that means something. I got to do that.
Yeah.
You know
Right?
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
You got to
literally
write it
horror.
down.
Yeah, it like horror just connects with people. I mean, there's a reason why, no matter what happens with box office or whatever else, horror tends to always do pretty well. And one, I think, is because it's fairly easy to shoot something very small and creepy, you know, without having to have tons of special effects or people. But two, I think it's because, I mean, just the human experience is kind of fucking terrifying.
It is.
Right.
You know, and it's like, it's one thing that, I mean, we're born with is that terror of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense that you kind of have to watch that to exercise it a little bit. you know?
Yeah, exactly. People love to get scared. I still do to this day. Yeah, especially films or stories. I don't like being scared like in real life. That's bullshit.
Yeah, safety is good
Yeah.
within your fear. That's a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't
yes.
get off like I'm not gonna go parachuting out of a plane or some shit. Like that's scary. That's too fucking scary. I'm
Yeah.
not
What
doing
about
it.
scuba diving? You can go scuba
No,
diving.
fuck the water, dude. Can't do it. No, too dark, and I don't need shit going up my asshole. I can't
But you
do
put
it.
a camera behind him, he'll go out to the forest.
Oh god, no,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
heebie-jeebies. It's scary.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service, by the way, Bob.
Oh,
Doing what
yes,
you
my
did.
pleasure.
I think that's amazing. And I would have never guessed that you were even in the military. Like in my brain, someone who was, a soldier who's going out and risking their life for something they believe in. You wouldn't sense you'd be so nice. You know what I mean? I think you'd be
Yeah,
like
right.
this hard ass motherfucker, but you're like a glowing dude. He's so nice. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I had this young NCO that refused to send me to the board because he's like, "You're too nice to the privates," and I'm like, "What the? I thought we were a team, man. What the hell?"
Yeah.
You know?
No, we used to like Full Metal Jacket, dude. You know what I mean? Just being
Yeah.
a fucking dick, And
Yeah,
here
yeah.
you are. You're just a big smile, nice, good energy. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Anyway, it's cool.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, so you're healthy. See, that's a good way to be. That's a good way to be. Good
You
for
gotta
you.
be.
And you found an outlet. That's even better.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you at with this creating? Are you vibing more with maybe acting, or is the filmmaking bug got you now and you want to make stuff, or is it kind of a mixture of both?
I think it's a mixture of both. I'm really excited to be learning the different aspects of filmmaking and all the hard work. I'm coming to really appreciate, what everybody puts in. It's amazing. So I'd like to do both. My dream for Mayhem hopefully would be, one, eventually a feature, and then maybe a series after.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Would be nice. But
is that something you're wanting to direct yourself, or is that something you're kind of like, hey, I want to write it, help out, but
I think that's a great question. I think I would like to direct it. It's kind of like when I was going to do Mayhem with that other studio, they had asked me, well, do you want somebody else to play Mayhem? I said, no, he's my baby. Mayhem's mine.
You're fucking Mayhem, bro.
Yeah, he's mine. I don't, so both, I think, would be the right answer for that one. Well, I know it would be, because it's me, but,
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to do both. The problem is learning to do both. But I'll get there.
Well, yeah. Yes, you will get there, and that just takes time. So that the more sets you can be on, the more questions you can ask, the more tutorials you can watch, the more behind the scenes things you can view. All that shit helps. It really does. That's how I learned.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know there was even filmmakers out here that did this. So when we started, we thought we were like the first people to do it in like Tacoma. We thought we were great. That's not true. Then all of a sudden I went on and I looked at filmmaking groups and I was like, there's thousands of people doing this.
Wow.
In Tacoma? What the fuck? It killed me. I was like, I had no idea. But I did learn a lot before I even attempted to like put something out in the planet. I made, I don't know, hundreds of short films before I got to the point where I started to get out there and see what it was like, trying to share like a film that we made. And it was eye-opening. It's very eye-opening. And then you realize so many other things. Like, I remember us being on our sets and only our sets. And I always wondered, I wonder if we're even doing this right. Like, I was kind of intimidated even going on someone else's set to see how they shot stuff, like they'll probably laugh at us. If we get real actors, they're going to laugh because we're like, we have one camera, so we're going to shoot this way. And then we knew we had to get another angle, so we have to shoot the same thing this way. And I thought in my brain that everybody had like 3 or 4 cameras set up. And I was like, dude, we're so ghetto. Everybody's going to laugh at us.
Right.
And then you find out nobody knows anything. No. And everybody makes it up themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially on this level,
That's super funny because when I met Logan, I was actually asking him all kinds of questions. And the studio I was working with was like, why are you doing that? They're going to think we don't know anything. I said, well, I don't know anything and I want to learn, so I'm going to ask. Good. And but anyway, it's funny how we second guess ourselves, are we doing this right, but no, I think you guys are amazing, and what you did with Horrorverse is just like, wow.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you, man.
I
appreciate that.
I tell everybody, dude, it's just like watching a Hollywood Friday the 13th. It's freaking perfect.
That's very sweet. Thank you, buddy. Seriously. It's not as hard when you're going back and you're trying to mimic like something that was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's easier. We couldn't do that with Marvel or something. We try, but there's no way we could fucking
right.
We could do it.
Well, maybe we're gonna give it the best shot we can. But that's really nice of you, Bob. Thank you.
That'd be awesome.
We've worked hard at trying to just elevate our own self, never in competition with anybody, just competition with ourselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
And some of us are better at it than others. Like, we had to talk on the last show, Steve, about how I've been holding back a lot just to be able to make stuff I know as efficiently as we can and not really try to push the boundary of where we may be at. And then I finally started to realize that these guys are fucking right and I'm wrong, where I need to like elevate my game if I'm gonna move forward in this to see if I'm actually as good as I hope I am.
Though, I think I don't know. I think that push and pull, though. I appreciate that you think that you're wrong.
And that's very rare.
I feel the same way though. Like writing, like literally, we're doing right now, Bob. We're working on, like, right before I came on, I was working on the next piece of the Horrorverse, last piece of the Horrorverse. Bless it.
Yes.
And it's weird because I have the same doubts all the time going the other way. I'm like, okay, just kitchen sink it. We're going to throw everything in and do it as well as we can. And then I'm hoping Aaron does the thing he's talking about right now, where I'm like, okay, he's got to cut it down. We have to do this reasonably. But that push and pull is always there.
No,
I mean,
that's a good
always.
point.
Yeah.
Good point, Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think that makes a good team. I think it would really, it meshes well that way. You're right, but I'm going to give in a little bit and not be so stubborn. God damn it. I need to be.
Me too. I'll
that
keep
way.
working at it.
Anyway, Bob, go ahead.
I was just thinking, the team aspect there is just phenomenal. That's one thing I'm learning is we can't do this without each other. We just can't. And yeah, and that's what I think attracts me to CCC Entertainment is that team, that cohesion, which is just really fabulous. And you get the same thing in Eugene.
Awesome. That's good.
We're all family.
Yeah, and we need to be. And you're right. It is the only way to go. And that was something that we literally took time to try to figure out our motto before we came out in 2017. Like for CCC, like what do we stand for? What does it mean?
Yeah.
And that's what CCC is: Creative Collaborative Coalition. Right? Join together. That's what it's been all about since we came out. And that's why we started a podcast to have, people like you that are just getting started in this, to people that are in Hollywood that have already done it, from, veteran indie filmmakers to people who are just kind of got their feet wet. It didn't matter to us. Everybody fucking matters. That's the thing. And then we decide that even though we can't get everybody to join together, because some people won't, and that's fine. We then learned how you can still use that kind of motto and stance, and that's your mission statement, right? To find the ones that will. And we've been lucky enough to find more than not, and that's what's fucking badass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that whole thing of I'm not competing against the other guy, I'm competing against myself. I think that's also what makes you so successful.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Because I can't judge someone else's art. I can't be that person. And I don't understand how people do that. I like pretty much every movie I fucking watch, and that's, there's some stinkers in Hollywood. There's some stinkers in the indie level. But for majority, I can always find something in a movie that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, though.
And when you make this stuff, like everything, you're like, at the very least, you can appreciate the amount of effort.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. And I'm always way more forgiving with indie filmmakers because I know they're out there with they're nothing, like a shoestrap budget. They got nothing. So they've got more leeway to me. Like I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the movie's it's not Hollywood. I should have known that. I already know that. But here's the thing: there's a filmmaker there. I can see it. I can see what they're trying to do. And if they had maybe a few more years, or a few more films, or a little bit more money, or a little bit more actors, they could have got there, and it's like, but if they keep doing it, they will. And but I don't do that with Hollywood. Like, Hollywood stuff, I know they got all the money. They can get anybody they fucking want. And I watch their movies, and for the most part, I still love them. Even if they're cardboard cutouts of something else that's already been done, I really don't mind because it's still fun to me. But, there's those ones that come where you're just like, okay, that's the fucking movie.
Yeah. Are you at that point yet, Bob, where you're watching stuff and you're really seeing behind what's going on yet? Like, and the lighting looks like shit. Or why did they do that?
Yeah, not so much that yet as far as lighting and things like that. But I'm like, I'll be looking at something and say, damn, do you know how many? I wonder how many takes they had to do to get that. Because it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that still blows my mind. Like, how many takes just for this, and just for that,
right.
And then you hear about somebody like David Fincher or Stanley Kubrick, and you're like, 60 takes, huh? 60.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah,
that is amazingly crazy. I couldn't do it.
But you can't argue with the result most of the time. But then, like, you hear the middle level ones, and you're like, 60 takes on that, huh?
Right, right. I know, it just makes me wonder. And then I wonder if, he didn't tell anybody, he just took like the first take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd be so fucking pissed if I was an actor. And he took the first one. I'd be like, know what you fucking want. Jesus Christ. Man.
Well, he did that. I worked with the soundstage yesterday, and we did a voice demo for commercials. So we got a professional
cool.
voice demo made for commercials, and I even found it in there that, okay, let's do this again. Let's just say this line again. I was like, it's really cool. It's interesting.
Yeah. It is. And that's another thing, Steve, I didn't say on the last show that I will. I'm going to do more takes. Yeah, I'm going to do more takes. I'm going to have a limit of 5, up to 5 takes. But if I know I've got it, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to roll it again one more time. We're just going to do it one more time, and maybe one more, so that the actors can still have fun. Because I think I'm neglecting the actors a little bit. I think
it's always like a sense of play. If you can keep a sense of play with it, I think you're probably okay. Like we have another project coming up in the next while, Bob, called Universal Opera, and being, having the director mindset in that, like, I kind of go, I'm like, hey, if we get it on 2 takes, great, we got something. And now you can really ask the actors, like, hey, what else do you want to do with it? You know? And it's like some people, though, I mean, are really happy. They're like, 2 takes, cool, let's move on. What are we doing now? So it's always dependent kind of on what they want to do too. It's always a trade-off.
It is.
Well, and I think that within reason, more takes. It just a little bit of experience I got with the one film. The more takes, the more comfortable I got. So then I was able to really bring out the vision for that character.
Yeah.
So
did you when you did something? Did you shoot Mayhem? Did you shoot something of Mayhem?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, yes and no. So when we were doing the Face of Horror competition 2 years ago, the first one I did, when Mayhem came to be, I was shooting little skits in my garage.
Okay.
So you did. That counts.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah. On our own. I mean, I did find the one. So I had my daughter made herself up, and she put on a skull cap, made a brain, and then I took a basketball, cut it in half, and put a wig on top of it so it'd fit over that. And then, as I'm cutting the skull cap off, I had my son-in-law keeping the camera on there, and but I forgot to tell him to pan in. What I needed him to do, I touched the brain with the, you want a slice, and as I touched the brain, her good eye opens. This one's popped out and hanging there, and her good eye opens, and she screams as I touch the brain. So the eye opens, her mouth opens, maggots and worms fall out, but he didn't pan in to catch that.
Oh,
damn it!
And I was like, oh man, that would have been so freaking awesome, But yeah, so I did do a little bit of filming of Mayhem.
Okay. That totally counts. Yeah,
It does. Okay, so next step here. So you want to make these movies, whether it's a short or down the road a feature. So you've got a little bit of a network going on. You're starting to talk with people. You've been on a few sets now. You understand what you need to learn, what you don't know. You want to direct. You want to act. You've got Logan Cannon. You have a novel. Do you have a script? Did you write something?
We do have a script.
Okay.
Logan Cannon took care of the script for the trailer. I was going to try to get a trailer shot. So right now my trying to do crowdfunding right now. So
Got it.
So right now I'm doing a GoFundMe right now. It's going very slow. But I wanted something to show people if I was to go to like Indiegogo, for the actual short film.
Yeah.
So that was my whole idea. Well, shoot a trailer, get that produced, go to Indiegogo, and then, try to offer incentives. Like if you donate $20, you get a poster. If you donate so much, you get this or that.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going at right now. The fundraising is really,
it's its own science. It is so much. Yeah.
So, but you have a roadmap, and that's what you need to start.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, our scripts are ready. The actors are ready. I just got to get the funding to shoot it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
What are you doing to try to get your fundraising out there? Have you tried anything? Social media? You're calling people? You're emailing people? What are you doing?
Yeah. So right now, I've tried Facebook. I've tried X. I've tried Instagram. Oh gosh, what's the other one?
Blue Sky,
TikTok.
No.
Threads.
So we
LinkedIn.
got. I got Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, X, and I guess that's it.
Okay. Yeah,
And then
that's
I've
a lot.
tried.
Mhm.
I've tried texting. Trying to do the family friends thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
Still
going to
going-
give you
going-
dick.
yeah. Well, and you know what's really funny is I'm finding that the friends that don't have the money are the ones that are donating.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Except for one.
Mhm.
One family member, he's amazing, but anyways, it'll come through.
Yeah.
One way, I'm going to shoot the movie one way or the other if I have to do it
Yeah.
with my iPhone.
That's the
Yeah.
right mentality to have. Yeah.
I would
But-
I would recommend building into like selling yourself.
Mhm.
You've got a great personality. You've got
Oh,
a
thank
great
you.
smile. You've got a good story of who you are and why you're doing this. Facebook Live it, man. Start talking to people. Just doing Facebook Live.
Okay.
And go in there raw. Like you've got 3 bullet points. You want to tell them about yourself, maybe something that's happened during your day, something that's funny. Then talk about your fucking movie and what you're trying to do with it and how you could use your help. And be patient with it. Give it some time. Keep doing it. Maybe be consistent. Do it a couple times a week for 4 or 5 weeks, just
And
to
they
kind of try
build
to
over
build.
time too. I mean,
They do.
Yeah, like Aaron, were you the one telling you were saying like in a theoretical better world you would have had like a month before we started our last one just to get
At least
the pump started?
Yeah, I think 3 months ahead of the actual launch date for a crowdfunder is even better. Just to give you time to, maybe you start prepping stuff for the first 30 days. Like get a list of names of people that these people are going to probably get your back, a majority of them. And then you've got your middle, crowd where you're like, well, they're iffy. And then you got the people that won't. But how many of those people do you have? And maybe you can get a few of those, really
Right.
organize like this book of business, basically. Get that ready, and then start reaching out in social media to everybody and be like, hey, on blah blah blah, I'm going this date. We're going to be starting a crowdfunding.
It's really happening. Yeah,
it's going to happen. Hey, can I count on you for a donation on day one? That'll really help me get this going. $5, that can get me started. There will be some perks. There'll be these other incentives
Right.
for you that you could look at, but anything helps on day one, and it does. Especially on something like Indiegogo, and I'm sure it does on GoFundMe as well. The more engagement you get fast, the more the algorithm picks it up and then starts sharing it to others that you don't know.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
they will help. They will come in and start seeing your work, and then they'll start donating, and then you're like, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the Facebook Live thing. I did a boost the post,
Okay.
and I was amazed at that one because it was only for a week, but I had over 100 views and like 20 shares.
Did
So,
anything
Nice.
turn over on your GoFundMe from that? Did you
no.
see an increase? Okay. That's
Yeah.
the tricky part, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
but that's the right attitude. See, you try stuff out,
Yeah.
see what works, what doesn't.
Right.
Look at your analytics, see where it was sent. Did you market it right? Did you get the right group of people, the niche to send that boost to? And you got to really start breaking up. It's a pain in the ass, dude. It fucking sucks, but it's work, right?
Yeah.
It's like office work. You really have to put that time in to get there. And we've
Well,
been semi-successful at a crowdfunder recently, but we hit our goals, but we wanted way more than we got, and we were like, shit, it didn't pop more, right? It didn't
But
pop
it's
Right.
that whole competitive thing too, like where you're like, okay, I am more talking to Aaron. Sorry, Bob.
Oh, sorry, Brad.
No
Where
worries.
you're
Let's
like,
just talk about that.
where it's like compared to the crowdfunder he done before that, where it was all just him doing his thing.
Yeah.
It was, good 5 times bigger than that. I think at the end of it, something like that, 4 or 5 times bigger.
It was double. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it was double, and that was good. And
Yeah.
most of it we got on day one, but the 30 days was good. It was like the day one, the middle was kind of sketchy, and then on the last day we got a little bit of a boost. But that was it.
And Aaron worked his ass off for that. Like,
did.
it's a lot of work.
It is, but you're on a high during that time.
Yeah.
You're really jacked up. Like, you are fired the fuck up when you're seeing this. Your phone is blowing up with so-and-so made a contribution.
Right
this
on.
person made a contribution. And you're just like, it's over and over. And then you're responding to them. And then you're doing this and that and this and that. And it's great. And then I come to find out that, halfway through a crowdfunder, the people that have jumped on board right away are going to be your best secondary or third contributors. So just because they contributed once, don't be afraid to reach out to them again and offer them something.
Yeah, roger
else.
that. Yeah.
That because they're already invested, right?
Yeah.
They want to see it happen, or they wouldn't have donated in the first place.
Right.
So that's like upselling them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It works. It does work. That's the work I was doing behind the camera. And I think that's why we got where we got. Because if I just let it die and just like,
it would have been
that's
half
it,
as much.
it would have been half as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll go through periods where I'm like sharing once a day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as like all of my oversharing where people are going to get irritated and not even look, you know? So it's like, and then I started this back in November and I'm thinking, well, that was dumb. This is the holidays.
It doesn't matter.
You know?
Yeah, you think it would, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
We have another filmmaking buddy who literally on January 3rd launched his for crowdfunder, and he got 50 grand in one day.
Damn.
One day. Like, and that's what, right after Christmas?
Yeah.
So
that's the weird
matter.
part. It's like you get these theories. You know, we had a guy helping us out, Abel, who's done a ton of work with a lot of people, including, I believe, Chase who did the 50 grand thing. Yeah. And it's weird because, you know, it's like for every rule, there's an exception.
Absolutely.
You know, and yeah, any theory is meant to be broken, really.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no one way. That's the thing. It really comes down to who you are.
Yeah.
And how much you put into it and how you use that energy, like with your posts, with everything else. Like, yeah, you may post once a day and you may feel like you're oversharing, but is there other artwork you have? Is there other ways you can post it? You know, if you keep putting the same thing up, yeah, it can get annoying. Oh yeah, there's a GoFundMe,
right.
and there's that Indiegogo.
I've seen it.
But
yeah.
Do you have extra content? Like that's that extra 30 days you might need. You might need to have like a ton of different, you know, photos, artwork, you know, little video clips, everything that you can think of ready to go.
And
so
we
you
know
have like
that
a whole month
now.
of whole month of content that you could post every fucking day, and it's something new, but it's still going to lead everybody to the same place.
Right.
Keep it
Okay.
fresh, keep it new. So if you could do something like that, you know, you might get a bump. You know.
Yeah. Okay. That's
There's always a
super
way.
good ideas. Yeah.
You just got to think outside the box. Episode 1, thinking outside the
Right.
box.
Think
Yeah.
outside the box.
Outside the fucking box.
So besides Mayhem, Bob, do you have anything else you're kind of ruminating about or working on a little bit, or is that kind of your primary focus?
That's my primary focus. I have thought about, you know, again, combining the two books and then still work on the more of a series style, you know. So right now Mayhem has gotten to where he's at a point in the second book where law enforcement has discovered they have this killer that is resembling the taxidermist, is what law enforcement names him in this book.
Okay.
You know, they name him the taxidermist. And anyway, it's 20 years since his execution, and they're starting to see these killings, and their Mayhem leaves things like retribution paid in full written in the victim's blood, right?
No joke.
And these are things law enforcement didn't share with the public. So now law enforcement is saying, hey, this was like the taxidermist. Who the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm kind of wanting the series to go that way, where it's like, okay, who is this? And then maybe have a cop start, you know, a disgruntled cop that's tired of the system failing, you know, letting all these bad guys go. And he starts leaving Mayhem clues, you know, until he gets greedy. And I haven't decided which direction I'm going to go with the reason he gets greedy. I'm thinking, my thought was maybe his or her partner's having an affair and the guy wants Mayhem to take care of it. Well, Mayhem's not going to kill the guy for that, the guy or the gal, right? So now Mayhem turns his attention towards the cop.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun.
You know,
fun.
And I just think it'd be a cool series.
Yeah, man. No, that's
so yeah. So my attention's pretty much on Mayhem.
Maybe even like an anthology film or something, as a, you know, almost like a Tales from the Cryptish kind of thing, where it's always him, you know, but little mini stories be kind of cool too.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
It would. I'm gonna keep on you on the business side of stuff. Just because I think that's going to be important for you to learn early on, Bob.
Oh,
especially
yes,
if you want to go and dive into the filmmaking side more. I would say
Mhm.
You know, we talked about Logan earlier. Logan came out of nowhere, dude. For us anyway. Like I saw him one time online. Next thing I know, this motherfucker's like in everything. Like every short film that's coming out, he's in this motherfucker.
I know. Yeah.
So he's hustling his ass off to get roles, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
he's meeting all these people doing this.
Yeah.
So since you like acting,
Mhm.
you could go that route too right now. Like, yeah, you can keep working on your shit, but at the same
Yes.
time, what else can you do to actually amplify, you know, the people that know you? That's what I'm always about. Like, how do they get to know who Bob is?
Right.
You know, and if they could figure out who you are, they're gonna love you, dude. You're such a cool guy. They're gonna
Oh,
love
thank
you.
you.
They're gonna love you, and then they'll be like, and then you could just have a conversation. Maybe fucking eating a sandwich or a piece of pizza on set, and next thing you know, you're talking about Mayhem, and someone goes, "Dude, I'd love to help you make that." And next thing you know, boom. You know,
that's funny you said that, because I was at the Y, and so I have what you call what do you call people that follow you around to your performances, groupies or whatever.
stalkers.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yeah, I got a lot of them.
Or I have there's a guy every time he sees me, one of my friends, Tristan, the guy that did the art, you know, he's like, Mayhem, you know, every time he sees me come to the tennis center.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But anyway, I was talking to my one friend, and she's like, oh, I could so support that. So it's funny that you mentioned that, where you could get to visiting. But I'm really hoping this voice acting thing takes off too.
It's great. It's fucking great, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, voice acting is fucking fun. We're doing one right now, and if we had more room, we started a while ago. I'd get you on board, but it's already cast.
You're pretty much in the can.
almost
More
done.
than half in the can.
Yeah. But it's a great gig, and it's a lot of fun. And you got a great sound system. You sound great. So
this thing, yeah. Now that I figured out how to use this crazy thing,
yes. See, Steve, he can do it.
You watch him.
and this, what do you think of this makeshift sound booth?
It
works.
That's everything, man. Like,
Yes.
even with the best microphone in the world, it's all about what's around you, really.
Yeah.
So that would go back to that other question that you'd asked, Steve. You know, what have you been learning? Is sound is everything.
It is,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, it's
really
huge.
is.
Especially in horror.
Especially
Yeah.
in horror. Yeah. That's fantastic, buddy. It's super cool that you're doing this, and that you've got a vision, you've got a roadmap. You know, you're just getting out there with this. You've got your feet dirty. You're in the crowdfunding. It sucks. How much do you have in your GoFundMe right now, by the way?
Right now, I'm at $445.
Okay. What's your goal? What's your goal?
My goal is $3,000.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and that was for the trailer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. It's doable, man. It is. You just got to get it out there more. That's all it
We'll
is.
get there.
You
We'll get
will.
there.
You will. Yeah. And don't stop until you get there.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Just take your time.
Yeah, Mayhem's going to come to life on the big screen. I know. And people are going to love him. I think that's what somebody on one of my reviews said, is Mayhem a hero or is Mayhem a villain? You decide, you know,
Right.
kind of a thing. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. How'd you get the idea, by the way?
For
For
Mayhem?
Yeah.
That's kind of a long story. Growing up, I had a horrible childhood. With lots of abuse and this and that, and nobody there to protect you, nobody there to take care of the threat. So I think that's how Mayhem come about. Mayhem is about ensuring the threat can never hurt you or anybody else ever again. And, you know, I think that's what everybody kind of wants, right? I mean, you see these heinous things, and it's like, don't you want the threat eliminated, gone?
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of how Mayhem came about, if that makes sense.
It totally does. It totally does, buddy. Yeah. Totally.
There's an argument, a friendly argument in our house, because I love Venom. You know, new Venom movie. You know, you got the lethal protector. You know, and I'll be saying, man, that's a great hero, and everybody says, no, Pop. My grandson, he's like, no, Pop, that's an anti-hero. I said, no, he's a hero.
Okay.
You know, and he'd be like, no, he's an anti-hero because he kills people. I said, well, yeah, but he kills bad people. So it
depends on the book, really.
Oh, right. Yeah. See, all I know is this Venom, you know, the Venom from this new one.
Oh, yeah. The movies.
The movies. And
total hero.
So I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is a hero one that takes the threat, puts the threat in jail so the threat can get out and do it again? Or is the hero the one that annihilates the threat? it's no longer a threat.
Right. Right.
And
then
so that's
you've
how
got
Mayhem came to be.
And you got that argument about a hero where if a hero becomes what he's against, he's no longer a hero. Right?
Exactly. Like, there's
That's
a
the
fine
trick.
line.
Yeah.
You know.
Hence is why, Batman doesn't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to become what these fuckers are.
And the drama
right.
really
Same
comes
way.
from that question within him too.
Yeah.
Constantly going, am I this? Am I that?
Yeah, I just ran across a fucking clip from Daredevil season 2 with Daredevil and Punisher having a conversation on the rooftop. If you've never seen that, that's a great back and forth between those two. Because Daredevil's basically telling him, I'm never going to stop trying to stop you from doing this. He's talking to another hero, Punisher, right? But he thinks Punisher is absolutely insane for wanting to just kill and just kill. And he's telling him, what I do, I end the problem. What you do is give him another fucking chance to do it again.
Yeah.
So you've got a difference between, a hero and another hero, right? One thinks everybody deserves a second chance, and the other one's like, no, you fucked up. It's over. You're done.
Yeah.
What's right? I don't know. And that's the cool part about it.
Yeah. That is the cool part about it.
Yeah. It's fun. Personally, I like the heroes that are flawed. So
Right.
that's my style.
Yeah.
It's fun. And Mayhem I would love. Because anybody, that's why I can't wait. In fact, after the show, I'm going to watch a new episode of Dexter. It's badass, dude.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Oh, fuck,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it, dude. It's so fucking good. So good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve, you got anything else for Bob?
No, Bob, it's good to see you, and keep kicking it out there because it's gonna catch. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And be creative as fuck online. Don't be afraid. Just Just do some shit. See what happens, and see if it doesn't work. Fuck it. If it works, great. You don't worry about it. Just I throw up all kinds of shit. None of it makes sense. None of it's cohesive. Like one day I'll be like, I'm in an 80s mood. I'm gonna make an 80s thing for Around the Reel. Then I want to make another one. Then I'm like, oh, I got to go make this for that. And then it'll be completely different. It's just, it's art. Whatever you're feeling, just
kind of go with it.
Just
when I had cancer, I lived by never quit, never surrender, find a way to win.
Well, that's the name of the show right there.
We've got to be that way.
Yeah.
You and Aaron are going to get along great.
Yeah, we'll get along just fine, Bob.
That's
what I mean?
his vibe.
Fuck yeah, it is. Yeah.
Roger that.
Some badass shit. No joke. I love it. All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on here, Bob. I'm getting to know you more. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For
It was
showing up, man.
a great pleasure for me too. Thank
Hell
you so
yeah,
much.
dude. Yeah, we'll get this show out right away. You'll see it. And then I'll give you something to practice with, and you can start sharing that.
Yeah,
and then,
Ah,
and then you can
Roger
tie
that.
in, hey, and I'm talking about Mayhem, on my GoFundMe. Check this out, and use those links. Fucking do it. See
Yeah,
if anybody
yeah,
kicks
yeah.
on. Yep. And if no one contributes because you're on the show, it's not our fault. It's their fault. So don't blame us.
It's their fault. I mean,
That is bullshit. It is 100% Aaron's fault. That's Aaron's fault, without a doubt.
well, yeah. Except now you can blame the new guy because we're gonna share it and be like,
Oh yeah, I'll blame Bob.
There
It's
you
Bob's
go.
fucking fault. I'm like, way to go, Peavler.
right.
Fuck that up. Jesus, man. Can't make you do anything. It's bullshit. All right. Steve, you want to close out the show, bro?
Sure. Thank you all for coming to Around the Reel. It has been a lovely time talking with Bob Wayne about his character Mayhem. And remember, wherever you go, there you are.
And think hard, because you're thinking anyway. All right. We'll see everybody later.
For those of you that want to be a guest on Around the Reel, please email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
Not Messenger. Do not message Aaron on Messenger because then he has to send you a message that says email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
How come they can't just message me again?
Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you.
Can anybody reach out? That's an artist, filmmaker, actor?
If you're an artist of any kind, we want to hear from you.
But we are going to vet the crap out of you.
We don't care if you make millions of dollars in Hollywood or if you're just beginning your career in the art industry. We don't care. So everybody that wants to be on Around the Reel, yes, we want you.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.